Okay, so let's start talking about what are gerunds and infinitives. So we by this time, students, we must have something clear: where to use to, where to use ing, and most important, which verbs I use for them. Because in this grammar, we are going to check other uses of ing or to. If we start checking there in our book, what we will have in here, it says complex gerunds and infinitives. So let's start with the first use of this grammar. And the first use of this grammar is when I use passive gerund. Yes, students, suena raro, chicos, pero tenemos un passive gerund o pasivo gerundio o gerundio pasivo. We know passive voice, conocemos la voz pasiva, but now let's check passive gerund and also passive infinitive. What is passive gerund and passive infinitive? Simple. It's to use the verb be and then to use present perfect. For example, in this context, it would be being plus participle. That is passive gerund because I have the verb be with ing and then the verb in participle. Or I have the passive infinitive that it's to be and then done. It's again the verb in participle. So now I have that. So what is this grammar for? Simple. This is normally when the subject and the object are the same person and normally they receive the action. For example, you have there in your book the expression, she hates being told she should do more exercise. For example, I hate, or probably at school, when I was at school, I hated, there was something that I really, really hated. I hated, and well, after hate, my verb must be with ing. So I hated being told, well, more than being told, I remember that I hated being scolded. Scold, regañar. So I hated being scolded. I am referring that I didn't like to be this done. I didn't like it. I hated being scolded. In the example you have, she hated being told, or she hates being told, she should do more exercise. Or we have the second one. I am tired of being lied to. For example, if I use that example, I can say, I'm tired of being, always being. I'm tired of being, I don't know, probably sacked from all my jobs. It's a guy that he always gets sacked from his job. So he's, I'm tired of that. What? I'm tired of being sacked from all my jobs. I am expressing by idea of passive voice, but in this context with ing. In this context, ing because of the preposition, and here ing because of the verb. So teacher, when do I use to be? Simple. When my rule needs to use to and no ing. One of my rules to use to is, for example, after adjectives. Nice to meet you. Es mi regla del nice to meet you. After adjectives, I use to. So the example is there. It's very difficult to get promoted. Or I can tell you, even in a step of to get promoted, could be to be promoted because I have be, or I can say, for example, it's really easy. It's really easy to be. It's really easy to be robbed in CDMX, for example. If you go to Mexico City, it's really simple to be robbed. Now I am saying that if you go to Mexico City, it's very easy that somebody is going to come and rob you. So it's really easy to be robbed in CDMX. So who's going to be robbed? You. And also I use now to because I have my adjective easy. Another one, for example, my car needs to be serviced. Teacher, why not my car needs being serving? Because after need, you have to use to. So we are using being or to be and the participle to say that the subject and the object receive the action because they are the same person, but I need to use ing with my rules of ing and to with my rules of to. I don't know if until here, do we have any doubts or questions about this part, students? Is it clear or not?
Yes.
Perfect. Any doubts, questions, something? No?
No.
Okay, so in simple things, I think there's a problem with the light, but well, in simple things, I am expressing this. Both are the same idea, but we need to use ing in some cases, and we need to use to in some cases. So until here, no problems, no questions. We can continue, students. Now, another use of gerund, and probably this is going to be a little complicated. Why? Because we are working with new grammars. New grammars, yes. These are new mini grammars, exactly, students. Believe it or not, these are new. Now, in here, what we have? We have the perfect gerund. What is perfect gerund? El gerundio perfecto. Yes. No, no es present perfect continuous. No, it's perfect gerund, que es el gerundio perfecto. ¿Qué es eso del gerundio perfecto? Simple. It's to use my auxiliary of present perfect, but in the step of have, I'm going to use having. And I use my verb in participle. So ing, or I also can use to be, have, and participle. So guess what, students? It's well, it's exactly not to no, it's to, sorry, to have. Yeah, because it's to and ing. Yes. So exactly, students, it's the same as the previous rule. I have my ing version and I have my to version, gerund and infinitive in both cases. As the previous grammar that we have here, the gerund, and here the infinitive, it's exactly the same now with this one. So what is its grammar for? Simple. This grammar emphasizes an action that was completed in the past. For example, you have there the idea. He thanked them for having helped him. If we want to create a simple idea of this perfect gerund or perfect infinitive, we have to think in something. In Spanish, this having helped or to have helped, it's in Spanish el haber, el haber. So if we have now this translation, for us it's clear, okay? I can tell you, having prepared the presentation, what? Having prepared the presentation helped me to get a good mark. So I am emphasizing that I got a good mark, due to what? Due to an action in the past. What was the action in the past? Simple, that I prepared the presentation. So this auxiliary have with ing talks about el haber. So in this sentence it would be, el haber preparado mi presentación me ayudó a obtener una buena calificación. Okay? For example, there, he thanked for having helped him. Es simplemente ese tiempo, chicos, de decir, a ver, por haber hecho esto. For example, my parents scolded me for. Now, I have for. It's a preposition. After prepositions, I use ing or to. What I use, students?
ing.
ing. So my parents scolded me for having broken a window. That's it. I am only emphasizing something in the past. So my parents scolded me for having broken a window. It's the same, students. I use having or to have and my verb in participle. Look at the example in there. How wonderful to have finished all our exams. I am emphasizing that the exams finished in the past, probably yesterday, probably today in the morning. But I use to. Now, what I use to? Simple, because wonderful is an adjective. And after adjective, I use to. The rule of nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, I use to. How wonderful to have finished other exams. Or, by the time I am 30, I hope. After hope, I need to use to. By the time I'm 30, I hope to have started a family. I am talking about an action that must have occurred in the past. I am emphasizing that activity, but in the past. So, in both cases, is haber, el haber something. Having prepared the presentation, chicos, ¿por qué aquí en esta oración uso ing y no to? Es una de las reglas. ¿Cuándo uso ing, chicos? Es una de esas reglas.
When you want to make the verb subject.
Perfect. Thank you, Maffer, and welcome to YouTube. Now, exactly. When I want to use, or when I want to create my verb into a subject, I use ing. That's why I don't have a subject in here. No tengo un sujeto acá. Está directamente al inicio. Entonces, having prepared the presentation, todo esto, digamos que hasta acá, chicos, es mi sujeto. Having prepared the presentation, that is my subject. Good, Maffer. So, as you can see, we are only using the same rules of gerund and to, but with more complex grammars. I don't know if until here you have any question or doubt? Something?
No.
I love how Brenda pretends not to be in the video, talking a little. Very good. And now fair with the thumb in there. Good. So, Arthur, Lily, no questions, no problems? Now, let's continue on my third use. It says, what happened if I use this to have, and in this part only two with would like, would love, would prefer, would hate, would rather, etc. If I use them with expression would, what's happening if I use them with them? Simple. I am emphasizing about preference, but in the past. Something that already happened and probably I would have liked to see, but I didn't see it. Let's make an example. Let's suppose that Maffer goes to, Maffer went to Paris last week. Okay, Maffer went to Paris, and she was there for a week, a lot of things, But she didn't go to the Eiffel Tower. She missed that part. That insignificant part. I mean, she did a lot, but she didn't see the Eiffel Tower. So Muffer can say, oh, I would like to have seen the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to use would like, would love, would hate, would prefer, would etc. to talk about what? To talk about an action that was not possible in the past, but you would like it to be different, or you would hate it, or you would love it, etc. I would like to have seen the Eiffel Tower, but the reality is that I didn't see it. But I would have loved to see this the Eiffel Tower. For example, I would hate to have missed this class because it was super important. Thank you, teacher. I would hate to have missed it. Lo hubiera odiado. Hubiera odiado el haberme perdido esta clase, pero qué bueno que no me la perdí. So, simple. You would like something, les gustaría que algo hubiera pasado. ¿Ok? Or even to not have, probably. Algo que tal vez no, etc. That's it, students. Very simple. Es una de las partes sencillas del grammar. Finally, I'm going to use my last grammar in this part, that is continuous infinitive. Ok, ¿qué es eso de infinitivo continuo? Ahora ya me está mezclando las dos grammars, teacher. Ahora ya me está poniendo el to be, ok, porque literal es siempre to be. Then my verb in Gerund, con don Gerundio. So what is that? And look, if you see there, the grammar is that the gerund, that is the verb with ing. So if I talk about gerund, I talk about ing. ¿Qué es esto? Simple. It's when I want to emphasize an action that is in progress right now. When I talk about that this action or this event is in progress around the time we are talking about. For example, I love being, could be, or I love to being even. It depends a little on that part. Look, I'd like to be. For example, I love to be, I don't know, talking in front of a group. I love to be talking in front of a group. In this context, it's not the same that I love talking in front of a group. It's not that. I love to be talking in front of a group. If I use to be, and a verb with ing, I am talking about an action that is exactly in progress at the moment that we are talking, in this exactly moment. So, I like giving classes. That's why I love to be talking in front of a group. It's something that is happening in this moment, and I really like it. Okay? Let's use sin as in the book, en el libro. Sin ver a, I don't know, a Brenda. Tal vez yo puedo decir que ella está leyendo algo. So, she seems, y porque me doy cuenta por la forma de hacia dónde van sus ojos, me doy cuenta probably because her lips are moving a little, because she's not looking at the screen. I mean, I am supposing, so I can use seem. She seems to be, but after to be, I need gerund. She seems to be reading something. So by the time we are speaking, by the time we are having this class, in this exactly moment, I am emphasizing to another activity. She seems to be reading something. Parece que está leyendo algo. Acá, yo amo estar hablando enfrente de un grupo. I am talking about an action that is in progress in this exactly moment. Look at the example in the book. Me encantaría, I'd like to be lying on the beach right now. So I am talking an action that I would like to be happening in this moment, probably. Puede ser que no esté pasando como en la primera de I'd like to be lying on the beach, me encantaría estar en la playa recostado, o algo que sí, she seems to be coughing a lot. Parece que está tosiendo mucho. Puede ser o que me lo imagino que estaría pasando en ese momento, o que está pasando en ese momento. Pero tengo que usar el to, el be y el ing. Ya saben, chicos, que ing sin be no existe y requiere un to para unirlo a esta nueva idea, chicos. ¿Dudas hasta acá? ¿Alguna duda con esta parte? Questions?
No.
So, no questions. I'm going to stop here. Okay, so let's go to our second part. Vamos a nuestra segunda parte, chicos, de este grammar, where we have in our book. So it says other uses of gerunds and infinitives. Now, we use the gerund after certain expressions with it or there. Examples: it's no use, there's no point, it's no good, etc. Ese tipo de expresiones, chicos, llevan gerund ing. For example, it's not use worrying, there's nothing you can do. Is there any point, puede ser el in, o simplemente is there any point asking him? It's no good talking to my dad because he doesn't listen to me. Entonces, chicos, cuando yo tengo expresiones con el it o el there, uso como tal ing. Si yo tengo alguna expresión que usar con el there is, el there are, va a ser ing después algún verbo. Siempre y cuando son, e incluso dice, son expresiones. There is a point, hay un punto. ¿Ok? For example, there's no point in, or there's no point repassing the grammar if you don't do your classroom. There's no point. Ahí usé como tal el there. It's unnecessary. Use el it's. It's unnecessary repassing grammar if you don't do your classroom. Use el it. Entonces, chicos, cuando yo uso it o uso el there, ese tipo de expresiones, y después sigue algún verbo, va entonces con ing. Entonces yo me tengo que dar cuenta en qué sentido uso it o uso el there, pero sobre todo, cuando son expresiones. Son expresiones, chicos, ¿ok? Frases, si gustan llamarlas así. A eso me refiero. Now, we use to. ¿Dónde usamos el to? After nouns, después de los sustantivos que se forman de algunos verbos, como agree, como plan, como hope. ¿Cuál es el sustantivo de agree, chicos? El sustantivo. Ajá. ¿Cómo digo un acuerdo? Agreement. Very good. Yes. So, si yo tengo alguna... if I use those nouns, uso como tal esos sustantivos, después de ellos va un to. Vean el ejemplo. An agreement, un acuerdo. Ok, ¿el acuerdo para qué es? Tal vez para empezar la clase media hora más temprano. So, we made an agreement to start the class earlier. Entonces, cuando yo tengo el sustantivo de algunos verbos, plan, por ejemplo, el plan que es planear, pero también es como tal un plan. So, we had a plan, or we had the plan to go on holidays next week with my family. Ahí está. Si yo tengo como tal el sustantivo de algunos verbos, después del sustantivo va el to. Agree, agreement. Plan, se queda igual en plan. Hope. ¿Cómo digo esperanza, chicos? ¿La esperanza?
Hope.
Well, we have hope, hopeness. Okay? Two. Y va el to. Okay? That's it. Puede ser hope, hopeness, even in some cases también puede surgir como un sustantivo. Pero yo tengo el sustantivo, después de ellos va el to. ¿Ok? Now, ¿dónde más uso to, chicos? Y lo tenemos ahí igual en nuestro libro. Yo tengo ahí, I use also to after expressions with quantifiers. Cuando yo digo de expressions, tengo un montón de opciones, chicos. Quantifiers, cuando yo tengo una palabra con el enough, con el too much, con el a lot, con el plenty, etc. Vean los ejemplos que tengo ahí. There's too much to see. Hay mucho que ver. There's too much work to do. Mucho trabajo que hacer. ¿Ok? Sorry, you aren't tall enough to go on the roller coaster. Cualquier expression que yo tenga con un quantifier y que diga un pa' qué o qué, recuerden que es la expresión del pa' qué o qué. Uso to, siempre yo tengo una expresión con quantifiers. ¿Ok? Si yo quiero decir que ustedes son suficientemente grandes para ver una película de terror, ok, you are old enough to watch a horror film. But for example, Maffer está muy chaparrita. So Maffer isn't tall enough to go on the roller coaster. No tiene la altura para la montaña rusa, for example. That's it. Cualquier expresión con quantifier que yo diga el pa' qué o qué, para algo, uso to. Si se dan cuenta, chicos, es una regla doble o una regla que ya va mezclada con la anterior, porque la regla del pa' qué o qué ya va ahí. O sea, hay mucho pa' qué o qué para hacer, para trabajar o demás. ¿Ok? Siempre es un propósito, chicos. Le digo, esta parte del grammar ya es mucho más sencilla. Now, when we want to refer to the subject, dice acá, vamos a referirnos al sujeto. Of the infinitive verb, we use for plus person or object pronoun before the infinitive. ¿A qué me refiero con eso? Vean el ejemplo que tengo acá. There wasn't enough snow. Suficiente nieve. For us to sky. Básicamente, chicos, acá me está indicando lo que ya sabemos. Uso el for para hablar de objetos. Acá es como tal, es el sujeto. There wasn't enough snow for us to ski. O sea, realmente eso del for está de más, porque el for únicamente es for me, for you, for them. Ya saben que después de for va un objeto, después de to va un verbo. Así de sencillo. Dice acá, this can be used before an infinitive structure. After adjectives, it's very difficult for me to decide, for example. It's very easy for you to do your classroom. Ahí está. Siempre es for me, for you, for them, for us, etc. Es una regla ahí subsecundaria muy sencilla. Now, si yo tengo something, somewhere, anywhere, somebody, es los típicos que son impersonals, el de alguien, algo, algún lugar, uso como tal el to. Vean el típico ejemplo. Ningún lugar donde ir. You don't have anywhere to go. ¿Ok? Do you have anybody to come with? To come with, ahí está. Do you have anything to do this? ¿Tienes algo para hacer esto? Entonces, chicos, es la misma regla del ¿para qué o qué? Para algo. A algo. Si yo tengo ese somewhere, something, somebody, anywhere, anything, anybody, etc., uso el to. Siempre y cuando sea necesario decir un para algo. Siempre y cuando, chicos. Finally, after question words, lo que les mencionaba, except why. Except why. Después de why no uso to. No se puede. Gramaticalmente no me da un ejemplo para why. Y finalmente, after superlative and first, second, last. Cuando me hablo de superlativos, por ejemplo, he is the tallest person. He is the tallest person to walk on the moon. Él es el hombre más alto que ha caminado en la luna, por ejemplo. ¿Ok? Cuando uso superlativos y quiero dar más información, ahí uso ese to. Vean el ejemplo que está ahí. Who was the first person to walk on the moon? ¿Quién fue la primera persona que caminó en la luna? Y ni lo digo en pasado ni en presente perfecto. Simplemente el to ya me da esa perspectiva a lo que estoy diciendo. He was the tallest person. He was the tallest person to walk on the moon, que caminó en la luna. Él es el hombre más alto que caminó en la luna, puede ser. No sé, se me ocurre. O después de los the first, the second, he was the first person to eat 100 hamburgers in less than an hour. Ahí está. Son expresiones muy sencillas, chicos, que nuestro mismo sentido del inglés ya nos tiene que ayudar a comprender. En alguno de los puntos que vimos acá, ¿dudas en algunos, chicos? ¿Alguno de los puntos que no haya quedado claro? Según yo, son muy sencillos. A ver, un segundito.